What a joy it is to be here today and see all of you, an island of sanity and a sea of madness. We're gathered here today because a dangerous virus is spreading across Ohio. And it's not COVID-19, it's fascism.
Amen.
We've got critical race theory, we've got the 1619 Project, mass socialism. We have a governor who increased the spread of COVID at least 6 different times with his orders. He stole our rights to assemble, to travel, to associate, to gather at our church. We have a governor who has said that freedom comes from wearing a mask or getting a vaccine. Where does our freedom come from? It comes from God, not Governor DeWine, not a mask, not a vaccine. DeWine nominated 7 different people to the Board of Education, as I understand it, and they all voted in favor of this sort of 1619 Project, critical race theory type things. Who we have as governor makes a big difference. We've got to change that. We're going to bring up an expert on critical race theory right now. Rachel, come on up. If everybody can take your phone and pull up the website that Rachel works with, it's called StopCriticalRaceTheory.com. Go ahead on your phone and look it up. StopCriticalRaceTheory.com. Their goal is to stop critical race theory. This lady is all about Ohio, and this is Rachel. Rachel.
Good afternoon. Critical race theory is critically flawed. Can I get an amen? Dan Reginald is so sorry that he couldn't be here, but he is our fearless leader who was responsible for putting together critical race theory, StopCriticalRaceTheory.com. And he is a David taking on a huge Goliath in the Ohio School Board. But he's not alone. We have 20 groups and counting from across the state who have signed on to help us stop critical race theory. My name is Rachel Citak. I'm an attorney. I'm an owner of a general law practice, and my husband and I service Ohio and Kentucky. He's my law school sweetheart. And I graduated cum laude from Xavier University, and I serve on the board of contributors for the Cincinnati Enquirer. I don't tell you any of these things to my own horn. I'm telling you that because I shudder to think of where I would be if I had been in a home and in a school that was teaching critical race theory when I was growing up. I'm telling you that as a testimony to what is possible when a child is taught that they have unlimited potential.
Yes.
Under critical race theory, I would still be sitting on that untapped potential. I would still be racking up my victim points. I would still be waiting for the great dismantling to take place to cash them in. Let me tell you a little bit about what happens under critical race theory. It's not set up for opposing racism. It's set up to tear down power structures. And the bigger that you are of a victim, the bigger bully pulpit that you receive. This is how they silence targeted groups. And this is where Dan's coalition comes in. With numbers, there is power and there is a voice to go to legislators. I was previously a registered lobbyist and a lawyer. Please don't hold it against me. I know how hard it can be to get a hold of legislators. Sometimes days or weeks or not at all to set up a meeting. And when Dan came to legislators with his coalition, he got an immediate response. To join, it's free to become a part of our coalition efforts and our pooled resources. Dan runs a well-oiled machine. It won't waste your time. He's efficient with our resources and with our time. Your logo will be added to our homepage if your group signs on, and a description will be added to our about page about your group. It's been questioned why our focus is on K through 12 when we see that CRT is creeping into colleges and governments. First, again, I just want to point out that if CRT had affected and obliterated my work ethic in K through 12, I never would have had the amazing opportunities to go to college or to work in government. Secondly, kids need a voice and a foundation. They need someone to speak for parental rights and to speak for their rights because they can't speak for themselves all the time. Lastly, our group is going to fight against CRT inequity and anti-racist efforts in government and in colleges. And part of what we need there is protection of free speech. We are fighting the battle there as well. And part of that battle is raising up a generation to recognize and to push back the creep of CRT into those spaces. Defeating CRT is defeating racism.
That's right.
The way to fight racism is to fight anti-racism. And I'm here from a legal perspective, so I have to point out that separate is inherently unequal. And when we provide separate treatment for separate races, that's unequal treatment for all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.